This is episode 227 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, Dion Morales, and today I'm joined by Marcel. X-Wing aces are a myth. Manzano.
You.
I was expecting a little more than that.
I'm not saying anything. I mean, it's right there. That's my literal feeling. X-Wing, like, I think this was just B talking. Yeah, my opinion is that the whole topic about what is an ace and what is not an ace is made up. It's make believe.
Well, maybe we'll get into it a little bit. Maybe we'll give you a little pedal stool talk about it today. Maybe I don't know. Will all killer, no filler, Hagewood.
Putting that premium on your ships.
And Ryan, I built the baby furniture, Staniszewski.
Yeah, past 2 weekends I have built the dresser for the baby. That's gonna have the changing table on, or changing area on top. I built the crib yesterday, so those are prepared.
You built the crib at the crib.
Correct.
Alrighty, and today we have some interesting topics to talk about. I know that I, as well as many others, were really hoping that the AMG points would drop today. Maybe, you know what? They can still happen. It's what time is it in the West Coast right now? It's 6:47.
It's not even 7 o'clock.
Not even 7 o'clock. Want to hit publish? AMG, you want to hit publish?
Dion,
right.
Didn't we have one? We had one show one time where I think didn't like something just get announced like in the middle or towards the beginning of the show. What was that?
I don't remember. Moments are fleeting, but that did happen. I do remember this. But if it happens, listen. I'm not. All of you who are watching live, I'm not telling you to sit on the FFG page and AMG page and just start smacking refresh. I'm not the entire time. I'm simply saying if you see something, say something. All right. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, with the lack of points, I thought it would be really fun on our Discord. By the way, if you're not a part of our Discord, ! Discord, or hit the link in the description below. Great community of people there talking about X-Wing and a lot of great discussions. By the way, I want to give a gold star. And I mean that, I'm saying that in a funny way, but sincerely, there's been a lot of really great conversations and not a lot of people yelling at each other, which is always way more fun and more productive. So keep it up, guys. That is like, I love the standard that we're keeping, and you guys do police each other when things get out of hand, and we keep it great. So if you want to be a part of it, you know where to go. But on the Discord, in the announcement section, and if you want to participate later, feel free to give your opinion here. I basically put an over-under poll as well as one yes-no question. I intended to do more yes-nos, but I just ran out of time. On kind of, I set lines on where approximately I think points might be, and said, hey, over or under. They're all at a half points, something and a half, so you can go up or down. And I want to get these three beautiful gentlemen and their opinions on my on their over and unders. If you're watching live, feel free to be a part of it, and let's jump into that. And after that, we're going to talk about filler upgrades. What do we mean by that is now that we can build to 200 without it really mattering, since bids bids are changing and most people are already playing with this rule that the bid no longer matters. If you had a bid before, how could we fill up that list and make it even better if if it doesn't, if the bid doesn't matter? And I think that might actually very naturally lead into, Marcel, your idea of what is an ace and why did it matter before or not matter in the future. We can maybe get into some of that. But I want to get into the over-unders. Let's go. So, again, if you haven't participated yet, feel free to jump on the Discord. But we have our Discord right here. So, Marcel, we'll start with you. Kylo Ren with the jamming suite in the TIE Whisper. I set the line at 61.5. Are you over, under, way over, way under? What do you think? And that's with the jamming suite again.
With the jamming suite,
Yeah.
161. I would hope that that's under. So by saying under, I'm saying that it's gonna be
Less
slightly
than,
above that.
no, you're saying under, you're saying less than 61.5.
I'm saying over. It's gonna be more than 61.5. I not by a lot though. I think it's.
And that's why I got a over and a way over. You know, you can
Yeah.
react. You can react to that. All right. What about you, Will?
I'm double checking how much Kylo costs in assignments there right now.
76.
Ooh.
Silencer's a really good chassis too,
Yeah, because you get always the 3 agility.
and double repo.
Yeah. Does yeah, because the Whisper
Can't double
only
repo.
has the Whisper can't like focus boost though either, right?
Nope.
It's only everything links to
either
rotate.
linked to rotate or it's going to link to jam, but it cannot do evade or lock link to either of those.
Okay.
It could jam though. It could focus jam, target lock jam. Yeah, it could do.
Oh yeah, totally. You
Target
can
lock
jam.
jam and
You-
force.
You could jam yourself to give yourself 3 initiative and be 3 agility, and then have 3 force and 3 agility.
That's not great. I'm gonna have to go under.
You're going under? All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like the not having reposition and a token. Not great.
He's got force. He doesn't need a token.
I'm looking to lock, man.
Actually, that even works out even better because he can reposition, jam himself because he doesn't have a token, and then give himself a third
but he does-
agility.
Or
But he does have a turret though.
man. You turret that only points farther back, and also requires the bullseye to get 3 attack dice. But if he repositions into bullseye, he can link to that range 2 jam if it's in bullseye.
And they don't have lock to rotate, right? So you
Nope.
can't do the SF passive sensors.
Nope.
Yeah, probably under.
Under. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Man, if it had that lock rotate, woof, missiles for days.
They apparently tested that. We're like, nope.
Yeah, I can
I'm pretty sure
imagine.
Kylo's the main problem of all of it because he has 3 force. He shouldn't they're like, you can't do evade and lock link to whatever else we're putting on this thing.
All right. And what about you, Ryan? 61.5. Where are you at?
I think a little under.
Little under.
It might be like 59, 60, something like that. But I just think in some of the points we talked about just now with Will, like I don't expect that chassis and the jamming to be that much more. Like he's a little better than, he should be a little bit higher than Soontir Fel price, but I'm trying to think about every pilot that's around that like low 60 range. That's something on a comparable basis. Like he ain't touching Fen Rao's price. Like that's obviously way
Right.
too high.
All right.
I mean, I feel like Quick Draw is 47. Like,
And when you put the SF Gunner on, Quick Draw is 57?
56. 56.
It's 9, not 10, right? Right?
Yeah,
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean, so you're like, I mean, not counting in, jamming is a big deal though. Hard to say.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's keep it rolling. So the community, the majority think it's over 61.5. And where I really like to look at is at the extremes, like way under or way over. And what we have that marked at is like 6 or more points in either direction from 61.5. And we have some people who think that Kylo could potentially be at 66 and a little bit, maybe 67, to as wide as some people believing that it would be at, what would that be, 54 to 53 points and a little bit. So that's a wide range. That's a big range. So we'll end up, this is all for fun. We'll see who ends up being right. and this would be a great reference for that. Oh, we could actually call out who it is by by hovering over. We won't do that. We won't do that. Let's go ahead and we're gonna move now.
My OCD has to mention this.
Yeah.
Just so you know, when you go to Las Vegas in January, when they're talking about over or under at the betting pool, it is completely opposite to the way that you're describing it. Just so you know, if you say like, are you betting the over or under? That means you're betting on the over. So if the betting line is 61.5 and you bet the over, that means you're saying it's going to be more than 61.5. Just
That's
as an FYI.
exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, that's the way it's set up.
Okay, then did I guess it incorrectly then?
No. You said you wanted Kylo to be higher than 61.5, right?
Then ignore me.
I will.
It's gonna be tough, but
Insert Venture Brothers Alien Ignore Me gif.
I don't.
Anybody want to go gamble?
I'm confused. We're just gonna move on.
With Marcel, he'll tell you the opposite. And we'll probably somehow accidentally be right sometimes. That's how it works. You got a 50-50 on the over/under.
Okay. Anyway, next. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Breach in the FO bomber. We got a lot of these. All right. We gotta hurry this up. Breach in the FO bomber. Now here's the thing. We have a consensus that in general we think the FO bomber is going to be cheaper than the Whisper. Yes? Is that a consensus among the four of us?
I actually don't know because, because the chassis base itself with the Whisper, minus Kylo, right? Kylo's on a different scale. He's got 3/4 and I5.
Right.
Is the base chassis of the Whisper going to be that much better than the base chassis if they put a lot of the points into the jamming suite?
that's a big question, though, right? Like,
yeah,
right.
Depends on
how much does the jamming suite cost? And would you fly out
if you take
one
the jamming
without it?
suite out of it, and if they price it so a lot of the additional cost of if you take jamming suite is by taking the card,
Right.
maybe they could be close.
Let's say I force you to staple jamming suite on all of the TIE Whispers.
Yes, Bomber's cheaper.
Okay.
Yeah,
Easily.
gotta be.
Okay. There you go. So, Breach. We'll start with you, Ryan. Right now, I set the line at 37.5. 37.5. What are you thinking?
Oh man, I think it's difficult. I just wanted to bring up, there's Yasby. Give me TIE Bombers. And give me, where is Telmex? So we clearly have a better ship chassis because you have, the base of the hull versus shield ratio. Obviously, you're gaining 2 shields, losing 2 hull.
Mm-hmm.
Breach has a better ability than Telmex.
Oh yeah.
The pilot ability, the chassis ability is probably better in the long run with the FO, but the Imperial one's still pretty good. It's a good line. What did I think I initially put just a little under.
A little under. All right.
That's my initial thoughts from that, and yeah, I'll stick with that.
Will?
Tomex is 35, and Breach has to cost a lot more than that. Even Captain Jones doesn't really count. Even Major Reimer, he doesn't count because his ability works on more than just himself,
Right.
which is very powerful. Even Major Reimer is only 37, so I gotta say a little bit higher than that.
And Marcel.
Yeah, I think higher. I think their boost and shields make them just head and shoulders better than the
knees
bombers.
and toes of the TIE bombers.
Yeah.
Yes, but you forget this is a new release. everything is priced to sell.
That's price.
Maybe, but
Let's
still.
go.
Yeah.
I mean, this is I5, and
Yeah, no, I5 potential torp carrier. I see the thought process. I'll stick to my initial because I see what I lit up here, so I'll stay low. You guys can go higher.
All right. Well, let's move it on over to the resistance now. Zori Bliss, our highest initiative resistance Y-wing. I set the line at 40.5. 40.5. Will, we're starting with you. What are your thoughts?
I'm pulling up. So Zari gets to. Can you read me Zari's ability? She gets to perform an action that another ship performed.
I think it's when a friendly ship at range 0 to 1 performs an action, you may perform that action as red.
When a
as
ship.
red.
When a
Friendly
ship.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is
It's
ship.
a
It is-
ship,
is
yeah.
every ship.
every ship. When a ship.
Oh.
Dang, that's pretty good.
You ain't blocking that one.
Okay. Oh man. Because I wanted to see what Han Solo Cavill cost, and he cost 55 points. Wow. And what's the over under 40?
40.5.
40.5, but also that this is a 1 less health overall Y-wing. But granted, better base chassis ability.
Yeah, I'm going over 40.
40 over 40. Marcel?
Y-wings suck in general, so I'm gonna go under.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
But,
Unless
yeah, I
they're in
mean,
mass, yeah.
Sad, but not wrong right now. I will probably go a little over. Another 40-point Y-wing right now is Dutch Vander. And while good for his friends, Zori, reverse, a little better just for herself to get more double mods. And yeah, base chassis.
Wait, does that mean she could coordinate?
Yep.
If she takes squad, if she takes squad,
If she has
no,
squad
it has to be
le-
the same. Hold on. Does it have to be the same action?
It has to
Someone
be.
else does?
Yeah, it has to be on her action bar. So if she has squad leader, right? Squad
It
leader
has to be the
adds-
action that they took, and it has
So
to be
you would
under
have to have another coordinating ship to do a double coordinate.
Yeah. Well, you or your enemy, if you have
True.
squad
Enemy
leader.
could decide to coordinate, but yeah, Zori
Yeah.
would
Wow,
have to have it, I think.
that's intense. I mean, it's like 10 points or whatever on
Right.
I5.
It's pretty expensive.
12. Yikes.
All right. Let's.
You don't even get your free calculate either, because
Nope.
it calculates an action. All right, never mind. That was a cool idea, but probably not gonna happen.
All right. Now, let's start getting it. So that's new releases. Like, that's not really controversial. Let's get into some hot takes. You ready for some hot takes? Going into things that we're pretty sure the price is going to change on, just because there've been points of discussion. We know that they add multipliers to lists winning. They have been in lists that have been winning a lot, which are usually targets for the price going down. And we will start with the points argument queen herself, Zam Wessel, specifically the crew for right now. Assuming it gets updated, I set the line. So her price currently is, and I'm pulling it up just because I'm forgetting off the top of my head and I don't want to say the wrong number, is 4 points. Currently set at 4. I set the line at 9.5. So over double of what she currently is. Will, what do you think?
Under. Come
Under
on.
less than that?
Less than 9. Easy.
Wait. Is 9.5 the?
That's
That's not 9.5 more. That's like 9.5 is what
Yeah,
it's
it's
gonna be.
9.5 is the
It's
line.
coming from the guy who was trying to tell me how over unders work. The line is 9.5. I'm saying, like, she costs
I'm listening
9.5
to, like,
points.
every 5 like 1 out of every 5 words. Like, you should know this by now.
All right. I'm saying she costs 9.5 points, more or less than that.
Yeah, less. I mean, you get. on an average game, you get like 1 bonus attack and maybe 3 free target locks, if that. I mean, it still has value, but like pretty close to 9, not by much.
Marcel?
I seem to be going with what like most people think, because I'm gonna go with over, maybe like 11 or 12, just because it only might trigger once or twice during the match, but the effect that it has on the match is much more than that, because you get the target lock from the very beginning. You get to say like, "Don't shoot me." So the impact on the game is more than the actual output of the card. So I'm gonna say higher. I'll say about 11 or 12. So that's like the 1 mark higher.
All right. Ryan?
I'm gonna go not just higher, the big double arrow. Higher.
Double! Up!
This thing needs to be like 16 or more.
What?
Okay.
Like a force
Sakura,
user?
let me do a comparison. Ayla
All right.
Sakura in the Republic is currently 16 points. Has a negligible ability and pretty much is viable to consider because you have 1 force and can do focus link to a purple coordinate. Which would you take in your list if you had the choice? Zam Crew or Ayla Sakura?
Depends on the list. Actually, Ayla's not that bad. Focus.
She's
link.
good. Correct. No, she is
Coordinate
good.
focus?
She is correctly costed at a high amount. But if you have to think about that even a little bit, needs to be in that 15, 16, 17 range.
All right. Well, can I counter that? Would you ever take Zam? Would you ever take a force user over Zam though? Or I said that
Yes.
backwards. Would you ever take Zam over a force user?
So as much as the free force passive mods you get, you also get those theoretically free locks via Zam plus potential chance of shooting twice, depending on which cards you use and what the timing of the charges.
Well, think about veteran turret gunner. Veteran turret gunner is what, 8, or was that 8? If it's not at 8 now, like that's just a free.
It's
That's a
variable.
free shot with nothing else, and that's like it's got like a huge.
And it's also
condition.
turret restricted on the range too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's got a huge
Right.
condition, and then if you go to Biston was what, 11?
10.
12?
I don't know. Whatever
10.
Biston is
10,
10 or
10
11.
right now.
And then Ezra's another one. That one's up there. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm maybe 12 is a little low, but I'm still gonna go with like 1 pip up. But I see where you're going, Ryan. I wouldn't hate it if it was 40.
Get it out.
All right. False transponder codes. I think this one has been one of the other very hot button ones. A lot of people got a lot of strong feelings about false transponder codes. I took what according to the people seems to be a conservative line at 2.5. Because this is a very strong majority. 173 people plus 11 think it's over 2.5. So currently, false transponder codes are set at, is it 2 points? Right? Currently at 2 points. So I'm basically asking, like, is it going to stay the same? Or is it going up? Most people agree it's going up. Do you guys feel the same way?
Yeah, I think you set the line a little high on this one. Hey, see, I'm going back more gambling talk.
I don't-
I mean,
That
you
doesn't
set the
make
line
sense.
a little low, and you should have set the line.
What is your problem?
Oh my God!
I
Up
love.
is down.
Is it a full moon out or something? Like, what is going on?
Wow.
Oh, third time's the charm.
I don't know
Okay.
if I can ever take Marcel to a casino.
Oh, we're going to January. Oh yeah.
I don't know if I
baby.
could let you go with your own money's sake.
Yeah, jeez.
But honestly, you should have put. I think the line right here would have been at 3.5.
3.5 or
because,
4.5, yeah.
Yeah, or because they can't stay the same. That's just not.
Yeah, there's no way
Yeah.
false transponder code stays the same. Here, let's do it live real quick because we got everyone talking. Change the line on that post to what you think it should actually be, and let's see how those arrows move.
All right. Well, you know what? Here, we could just. How about I put another one? I can just. We'll copy pasta here. We'll leave and we'll say this is like version 1, okay? And you guys can
Sure.
jump on Discord and we'll change this to 3.5, and this is V2 live.
Well, we have 175 people. Do you think 3.5 or 4.5 is going to change it more?
Well, let's see what 3.5 does.
Okay.
Let's see what 3.5 does. And I need to go and put some arrows here. Go down and down, and we add up and up.
For the audio audience, Theon is adjusting Discord. Oh, we do have some. Marcel's holding up a sign. I'm not here. Ignore me.
Alrighty, let's keep it rolling. If you guys are watching live, go ahead, give your opinion on the Discord. We'll continue going down our list here. So most people thought my 2.5 line was too conservative. So we'll see what 3.5 looks like here in a little bit. Hera in the A-Wing, another one with her target on her back. Currently, Hera Syndulla in that A-Wing is sitting at a nice 42 points. 42
Look
points.
at that even split.
I set it at 46.5. That tells you like that was a good line. I'm making some people struggle right there. It is nearly 50-50 between the folks in the wild.
Might as well, just before we get to the next one, too, I think the next one you might want to do that as well. But we'll talk about Hera. Again.
I think there's a better. Weirdly, I think that might have a better discussion on the next spoiler thread tracers because Marcel already hinted at it.
All right. Well, Hera in the A-Wing. Will, what are you thinking? Over, under?
I'm thinking over. I mean, she comes real close to the effectiveness of Ahsoka. That's real close. Ahsoka's 49, Hera's 42. I mean, I don't think a lot over, but definitely over 46. Could be 47, 48 easy.
How much is Lula? 45, right?
42?
42?
Yeah.
Oh.
ZZ's 41, I think. Yeah.
ZZ's 41, Lulu's 42, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, neither of them have widespread squadron effects like these do.
Right. And here's one thing, not a preface, but something I want to note here. The reason for point changes are there's multiple reasons why AMG and in the past FFG has changed points. Sometimes it's just because there's something very obviously out of balance, and sometimes it's balance perception. And what I mean by that is sometimes they will tweak things because it is part of what has been talked about a lot. And the third thing is just looking at the tournament data and just kind of saying, okay, this is a pilot we see showing up a lot, especially in a specific faction. So they hit it. So I've definitely I see some people saying like, what if I think Hera is gonna be exactly what she was before? Well, then you go under on this line, but just to kind of reference there. So, Will, what was your final answer? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Slightly over. Probably closer to Ahsoka's cost. Easy.
All right, Marcel.
That's a close one. Probably over also, maybe. Yeah, over because of I'm not looking at Ahsoka. Over because of Fenrau on the ether spray is 50 something. So that also
What's an ether spray?
Sheathipede.
Whatever. Like,
You don't speak Marcel.
well, that one, like I honestly don't know what they are.
Marcel-
That was not a gambling one. That's a literally I don't know what they are. So
Marcel's done this one before. He just messes up the name. It's fine.
Yeah, that's my normal form. That's not my ignore me form. Like Sheathipede, ether spray. I can't even think of other ones, but there's other weird ones. But anyway, Fenrau on the thing that escapes out of the VCX. How you like that one?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I like
Got
that.
that one.
On that one, yeah. On the coordinating thing that spits out of the VCX.
What's the title
It's like
that lets
50.
you do that?
VCX title? I don't know.
Phantom, but okay. Yeah.
Phantom, yeah. All
actually
right.
Phantom 2.
Phantom
But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm using that one as like if that one's 50 something, then Hera needs to be more than 46.
Got it. All
But
right.
but I don't think like 5 more, like 2, 3 more.
And Ryan.
Yeah, I initially set a little above as well, and I was going to think of a devil's advocate reason just to get the discussion point going. But since you mentioned Fenrir Sheetsby, that's actually a really good point. Like, he is 50 right now, and he's got I6 coordinate, which isn't as good as Hera's ability in most situations. Fenrir does have that denial of using tokens to other players. It might be kind of close. So yeah, I think a little over.
All right. You ate pizza. You blame that. All righty. Well, let's Ryan, you said you wanted to kind of fold in the next one into this discussion. Thread tracers I had set at a line of 2.5, and currently they are 2 points. And
Yep. So you're challenging whether or not they'll go up at all.
correct.
And
What are
you
your
actually
thoughts?
just brought up kind of a lot of discussion point I was mentioning. They might like the changes on the perception. Maybe it's not 100% game balance. What's been played a lot, all that stuff. So that actually like segue really nice into the thread tracers, because I think they're probably going to go up. I personally don't know if they needed to go up because it also depends on everything else that shifts around, right? If the barons go up, or if the other things that are using or abusing thread tracers go up, do thread tracers need to go up at all? I don't know. They're probably going to go up. My guess as well is noted to be a little over. Not going to be a lot. Probably going to be 3 or 4. If they're over 4, I don't know if they're ever taken, to be quite honest.
What do you think, Will?
I mean, that sounds logic, but I have to believe thread tracers is what keeps swarms that don't have access to like Jendon or probe droids or all the other tricks that other factions get. It keeps them in the same power level. So I think they could stay the same. I don't think they should go up.
That is an interesting idea. The idea of will thread tracers pay for the sins of a specific list, right? So we're talking about barons essentially is what we're really talking
which is
about.
what I'm expecting. They'll pay for the sins of another list, even though there are many other lists that could use them and be pretty fair.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, do I think they should go up? No. Will they go up? Yeah, probably.
All right, Marcel?
Yeah, and they should go up at least double the points. And I don't think that only if, like you said, Ryan, like only the ones that abuse them. I think anyone that can carry it can abuse it. Like you can put it on a Trade Federation drone, and now you took his little pea shooter with a calculate and turned it into a 3-die gun that gives all the other 7 ships on it. You throw it on the Z95, so it's not just a Baron thing. It's it could be broken on any of them. So yeah, I'd like to see it at 4 or 5 points.
All right. Well, let's go on. I think another really big one that we've seen used almost exclusively since its inception into the game, thermal detonators. Dropping 2 bombs at once, turns out it's kind of good, especially when you set it at 3 points. I set the line at 4.5. This one's a little more split. We still have a majority of people, 109 of them, believing that it's over 100, over 4.5. But we still have, 82 people who think it could potentially be under. What are your thoughts, Marcel?
It's a close one. I think this is the first one that I'm breaking away from the hive mind. I'm gonna go under on this one. I think, I don't think the there's too much variable. There are too many variables with this because it's not like concussion bombs where it guarantees it. Proton bombs guarantee a crit. This one, yeah, you get 4 of them, but it's more like an area denial thing. And unless you have Dooku, there's really no way of guaranteeing the effect. So I think 5 points is too much for it. So I'll keep it at 3 or 4. Even keeping it at 3, I would be fine. 3 or 4 is fine.
Keeping it at 3. That's
I wouldn't mind.
Okay.
Because without Dooku, I get, well, yeah, you're right. It's, if you got 3 points, that's the one that you
got to
had.
think about.
But that's because concussion. I would keep it at the same price as concussion. I think concussion's 4.
Just 4, yeah. So you would put up to 4, but not over 4.5. Okay.
Yeah, if it's 5 points, I would just use concussion every single time.
Yeah, because concussion and proton bomb cost 4 points right now, and that seems pretty fair. They're on par with those bombs.
Will?
I'm going under. I like that 4-point cost as well.
Do you like 4? All right.
Yeah.
Ryan?
I think I'm going a little over. I think that wider spread area denial can be a solid impact, and I know it's got the potential variance of dice where a blank could do nothing, a strain may not matter, but it's more rounds of area denial that you have full control over. Concussion, as soon as you let one go, they're all coming out, and with proton bombs and say like seismic charges, you have 2 charges and that's it, and they only have the 1 drop unless you have a specific chassis. So I think the area denial and the time throughout the game that they can be threatening is worth more than a concussion bomb. I don't know if it's worth as much as proximity mine to say it's 6. Maybe it's over 4.5, I think, though.
Ooh, I want to change my answer. I forgot that you could just drop them with the 2. You get free skill bombardier with them.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'm going over. Never mind. That free 2 drop is very good.
Makes a big difference. All right. Now let's move to, I think there's a little bit more of a fun one. Because I was looking at, we were talking about all these things that are probably going to go up in points. And then I was like, you know what? What about something that needs to come down in points? Something that just like isn't played and is a little bit of a meme. And that is Poe Dameron, but specifically the Resistance Commander. I put on Discord, aka Bad Poe. That people corrected me and saying Poe's not bad. He's just less selfish in this one. Well, yeah, but he's bad in the game. Not compared to his trigger happy flyboy. But now, my question was, do you think he'd go down in points? I set the line currently Poe, let me go ahead and just double check that number in my mind. Currently Poe, the Heralds of Hope one, is 60 points. So I just lowered it. I said 58.5. 58.5. Initiative 6, T-70 X-Wing that can every other turn coordinate. Is that essentially what his ability is, if I'm remembering correctly?
Coordinate or double action, because he can take it on himself as well.
Right. One of those two. What do you think?
After a friendly ship at range 0 to 2, yep, so himself. Forms an action during its activation. You may spend 2 charges, only gets 1 back each turn. If you do that, ship may perform a white action treaty goes red.
Yeah.
Not every turn.
Yeah, so every other turn. Every other turn. So we'll start with you, Ryan. What do you think? I set the line at 58.5.
It's currently 60, 58.5. They're about to come out with Resistance Y-Wings. Might give them a little more incentive. My initial was under. I think I'm going to stick with that. I just think to myself, I wonder if they would go even so low as to price them either the same or around Elo Astian 9-Nub, who are 54, 55, which doesn't really break the super low, but I think he's definitely going to be lower than 58 if they change him, which they should.
All right.
See, that was my exact comparison, is that I would rather fly Elo and 9 every day over Herald's Trails of Hope Poe. I would not fly him unless he's under that 54 price point of LO.
Yeah, right now, if you just straight compare 9-Nub with Pattern Analyzer versus that current Poe, it's like they're both 60 points, not even comparable.
Yeah, I would like to take 2 to 3 actions every round versus 2 actions every other round.
There you go. There you go. And the value is in the initiative 6, right? Like that's the question. Ooh, Marcel, is Resistance Commander Poe an ace?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on. I was trying to bait you there a little bit, but we'll move on. All right, and the last question.
Well, you didn't get. Yeah, I didn't answer.
What are your thoughts on Resistance Commander? 58.5.
So Wedge with shield upgrade, so that gives them Wedge's ability, which is great. With the same, 4 hull, 3 shields at 60, I think is way better than double action every other turn. So yeah, lower.
All right. And then I ended with a yes. Actually, let's hit this first. The false transponder code live question. I set it at 3.5, and we became a little bit more split, mind you. Of course, not as many people answered this one as when I tagged everybody in the Discord. But we had 19 people saying over 3.5 still for false transponder code. So it's essentially saying 4 over 3. In that one. So interesting. One person still thinking even higher than that. Up. They're going even higher. All right. And then I asked a yes or no question here that was extremely one-sided, but I still want to talk about it. Because
Did we ever get to answer our false transponder codes for us though?
Oh, did you not? Did we not talk about false transponders?
I think we just alluded to it being very one-sided, but I don't know if we ever fully got discussion.
All right, well, let's talk about false transponder codes, Ryan. The new line set 3.5. What are your thoughts?
I want you to take your cursor and hover over that double up arrow and see what names are there. Because your name automatically has to be there.
All right.
And there's another name, and that's me.
Right there.
I think false transponder codes easily needs to be the most expensive illicit in the game. Granted, that's not a high bar, because rig cargo shoot is 4, right? And that's where it stops. Maybe they come around with initiative-based pricing because based on the target lock action, it is an action that because things that move later can take better advantage of target lock ranges, should be at a much higher cost. We see it very effective on I6s, I5s, so on, even I4s, right? If you're higher initiative with false transponder codes, you're much harder to deal with if you are moving before they do. So there are ways to move, make it trigger forcefully by you taking locks, but you are actively not taking an action by doing that. So there's pluses and minuses of doing that. I think if it doesn't get initiative-based pricing, it needs to be much more.
All right. Marcel?
I actually don't think it's that bad. Outside of that very first train wreck game I had where I got tabled by it, I've never really had trouble with it again ever since. So I think if you know how to play against it, if you know what it's trying to do, it's easy to counter. It's not game breaking at all, with the exception of like that Jabba and like everybody transponders like every single turn, but you're gonna get stuff like that.
But okay, but then are you arguing that you points cost for just having one in the list, or do you points cost for the worst case scenario?
No. I think stuff like that'll happen, and even though that list, like, for starters, I doubt that list will survive because it has Zam in it. But yeah, I think it's fine. I think it maybe not staying at 2 because everybody uses it. Maybe 3. So under, and then put the under on there.
Put his money where his mouth is. What do you think, Will?
I mean, we saw this very similar situation with contraband cybernetics. Like the go-to illicit at 2 points. Like, if you got red moves and you want to do them at some point in the game, you you might want to take Contraband Cybernetics. But the reason it was so commonly taken was that there was no competition at 2 points. And now we see a year later, false transponder codes, exact same scenario. There is no reason to take Contraband Cybernetics that could give you an extra action or an action you wouldn't normally have at some point in the game versus an upgrade that lets you, for cheaper, take 2 actions, probably the first round of engagement. So I think that if it was just 3 points, same as Contraband Cybernetics, there'd be a lot of ships, especially if you have like 2 or 3 agility, talking IGs, who are already using Contraband anyways, or willing to pay more points for Contraband than false transponder codes. And like fire sprays, they would probably rather have that focus for defense or even like a Talon roll boost than the extra jam action if they were costed the same.
All right. Ryan?
So, I know I already said a lot over. I'd be okay with them being around what you guys are talking about. Let's say, what if they put these on the quote incoming restricted list, making it 1 per list? I think my most concern is not it existing at a low cost. It's it being spammed and used a lot. We've seen it in the iteration of the new Scum list where it utilizes Java to increase the frequency of its usage, or being that you can take a lot of them, increase its effectiveness much more in sort of a juke level scenario. You know, the more it's on the board, the more abusive it can and feel during a game. So if it was either restricted or, at least in the cutthroat or Java situations, wouldn't be allowed to recover its charge. That'd be more of an errata thing to the card, but those are things that I would like to see with the card if it was kept at a low cost.
That'll be the true transponder codes when those come out. All right. And then the last one on this list here, I did a yes/no question, and I'm remembering specifically Ryan and I having a big like combined we agree on this idea moment it's probably a month or 2 ago back. The question was, Zam Wessel, yes or no? Do you think Zam Wessel will cost more than Jango Fett after the upcoming price? Assuming that the prices are getting adjusted on those, because one thing that I think we've all echoed is that Zam is better than Jango, and right now she is cheaper than Jango. Right, you got Jango Fett sitting currently at 79 points in the fire spray, and you have Zam sitting at 76. So a 3-point discount for a better fire spray. 189 people said, yup. We still had 17 people say, nah, no. And I guess are we all in agreement that the answer to that question is yes? Can we agree there?
Yeah, and I think that 17 people, well, 16 people, because you said you have to be one of them, right?
Oh, yeah, so 16 people, yeah.
So I think 16 people had a Marcel ignore me moment, and they probably misread something.
Okay.
Because
let's
or they think they're the same cost.
Or they could end up being the same. That is another wrench in it. Or they're just diehard Zam players, and they're in denial of what's about to happen.
Okay, let's put it this way. We just said that we believe Zam should be. Well, I think me and William were saying like 10, 11, 12 points, and you were saying like 16, 17 points. If they're only 3 points apart right now, and then you're adding the ability plus 2 additional charges to that ability, that's not even close. They should be at least 5 points away, with Zam being like at least 5 points more than Jango.
So right now, Zam is 76, Jango's 79. So it's a 3-point difference currently. Just for context.
That's an interesting swing. So Marcel, you're thinking like like an 8. If assuming Django stays the same, which I guess that's
Well,
a
how
whole
much is
other
Django?
question.
Django's 79, right?
79. That's another
Correct,
question.
yeah.
Is
Yeah,
Django Fett's price going to change?
What's Boba Fett?
Boba Fett
86.
Where?
70.
No,
Oh,
Boba
wait,
Fett.
no, which Boba? Separatist?
The good one, the Initiative 5 one.
86.
was correct. Yes.
All right.
Okay, so why would Zam be lower than? Like at the very least, it has to be Boba Fett, and that's in another Initiative 5 fire
I was
spray.
going to bring up that comparison right now. Boba Fett in the fire spray is 86 points, which is the most expensive base cost ship in the game. Dash is 85.
There's a defender who might have a word with you.
Besides Vader.
Okay.
Sorry. I was comparing base-sized ones, not the small base menace that is Vader.
Oh, I see. Fair enough.
All right. So interesting. You know, these over under questions, when I put them out there, the idea here is just to get the thought process as to why do you think over or under? Because I think one thing it shows our biases. And now let's be honest, every single, if your answer, whether you're saying over or under, is built on your personal experience and how that affects your bias in the game. Because we might have some people here who think, you know, like, no, I want the points to be lower because that's the faction I play, or I use that card a lot. Or you have people who have been just burned by a card. You're like, no, Resistance Commander Poe needs to be more, double the points, right? Because they've been hurt by them before. That's a ridiculous example. Hopefully that didn't happen to somebody. But, yeah. It's always interesting when we take these looks at what people's opinions are on something, because I think it causes some great conversation there. Now the next thing I want to hit on, Marcel, and you know what, I think looking at the time and how long that took, our discussion, we're gonna have to shelf one of the discussions, either the ace discussion,
No, I want to
or
do
the filler
points.
or the filler discussion.
I want to. Points are more fun. The other one's more ranty. Not ranty. The other one's more like don't be ranty.
It's also something that it's also something that could be done at any point in all of X-Wing.
All right, cool.
Whereas this one is like point filler, preparing for the potential update.
All right, well then we'll do that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take a look at some of the top lists from the Galactic Championship qualifiers that were less than 200 points, and we're gonna pull them into Yasby and essentially ask the question: if this tournament had happened where the bid didn't matter, what cards that were purposely chosen not to be taken would be filled there? Because essentially, when you take a bid, you are saying that the cards that I could have put in the slot are not worth the cost of the bid. But now when the bid doesn't matter, what are you taking? I know there's some people who automatically throw out like oh, I'll always just kind of throw this on. But there might be some more specific situations that we could run into, because nobody wants to be rolling around giving away points, right? Nobody wants to do that. So let's go ahead and we'll go with we will go with this one right here. I have a 195 point list for you guys. Let me go ahead and pull it up right now. I'm sorry, this is a 188 point list. You guys ready? Let's go with one of the latest menaces that we see out there. Von Reg and Kylo Ren. So it was built at 188 points. Lone Wolf and Afterburners on Von Reg. Kylo Ren, supernatural reflexes, prime thrusters, proton torpedoes. Now, if you're listening to this in the future, remember, the points may have changed by now. We're going with the context at the time that this tournament happened, which is currently at 188 points. Now, Marcel, quick question to you. How similar is this to the one that Doug Howe ran?
This is exactly the one that Doug Howe ran.
Okay, that's what I wanted to double check here. So, we'll kind of jump with you first. We have a configuration slot open on Kylo Ren, which, I mean, completely changes the chassis. I don't think we're touching that one. But we have a missile slot open for Kylo, a missile slot open for Von Reg, and a tech slot open for Von Reg. What are you looking at?
First thing I'm reaching for is that tech slot. I want pattern analyzer. So good. The fact that this Von Reg doesn't have Daredevil, which means that he's not flying around like depleted and stressed, which gives him the opportunity to do those red maneuvers. Plus, with advanced sensors, or excuse me, not advanced sensors, excuse me, afterburners, you can even do the 5K of the First Order Interceptor and be able to boost. In addition to taking the pattern analyzer action, probably focus or evade, maybe a barrier roll, and then you still get your lone wolf reroll. So definitely slapping that on there. I don't want Deuterium power cells or prime thrusters. Not interested in it. What's that putting me at? 7 points?
Yeah, we got 193 now.
I want a missile. And I don't want to take a bid though, right?
Yeah, you don't want to bid. You're giving it away. You'll be giving away points. It's 50-50 chance you move last now.
I think the best missile combo might be give one of them a proton rocket and give one of them an ion missile.
Yeah, but see, I guess.
And like Kylo already likes to focus link to stuff if he wants to be defensive. He can do the proton rocket, or he can do the other missile too.
Yes, I would normally say that the Major takes the rocket there, but he got afterburners though, so he can
his natural chassis ability though is like a lock plus an action if he wants to use it.
But afterburners, I don't like afterburners because Von Reg likes going slow. Every once in a while he'll fly forward, but for the most part, their blue maneuvers are slow maneuvers. They like to knife fight. I like pattern analyzers, stealth device, and concussion missiles. So he's got 3 dice from far away, but then he's concussion missiles. I think also have like two. How many? They've got like 3 charges, I believe, right?
2 charges.
3 charges.
So,
Yeah.
So you can use it a few times. And then with stealth device, we know how good 4 agility on the 4 agility is. So I would say that. I mean, that gets him up to 2.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I think I'd rather take the 5-point missile of choice. Procket, homing, mag pulse. Actually, mag pulse probably is really good on Major Von Reg because you can use it defensively. So I think I would take mag pulse and then the ion missile on Kylo. Which turns out, if you got Supernatural Kylo and your enemy is ionized, good luck.
Yeah.
All right, so here's just one example, and we have Von Reg, Lone Wolf Pattern Analyzer, Mag Pulse Warhead, Afterburners, Kylo Ren, Supernatural Prime Thrusters, Proton Torpedoes, and Ion Missiles, 200 points built to the nines. And Marcel's suggestion was then for that missile slot on Von Reg, taking concussion missile, and you said stealth device, correct?
Stealth device. But I got a question.
We're getting rid of the
building
ion
this
missile
out to try to get to 200.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, did what we add outside of the pattern analyzer make it better against swarms and against the rest of the field? Like ion missiles, ion missiles probably better against other aces.
Missiles
so
got, that little bit of splash potential for sure. Mag Pulse has that more reactive, like this is the worst target for me or Kylo, so I'm going to neuter it as best as possible. Plus, Mag Pulse has that small chance to trigger Kylo's ability if you've shown them the dark side.
So
imagine showing them the dark side and getting hit by the Mag Pulse effect.
Could be 2 stress, deplete, and jam. Good luck.
So I think, Marcel, what you're saying is that I think you want to ask an additional question, and I think the question here is, how will list building change if in a world where the bid doesn't matter? So is the question, would people still fly Von? Is this even a viable competitive list anymore?
Probably. I mean, I don't think we'll see Supernatural on Kylo anymore if you can't get the deep bid, but it's still good. It's not bad, and it's still going to beat most of the I4s and below. The question that I was asking is, with, like you said, with the new rules in place, we're just throwing stuff on there and saying like, oh, it's like Tetris. We're playing Tetris, so it's like, oh, what fits? Like, oh, this is the combination we can get to fit 200 exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But is it making it better? I mean,
I would counter that with, if you did lose the bid and Major Brownrigg is shooting first versus other sixes, that mag pulse shooting first would be advantageous then.
That's definitely true.
Yeah. And I see the pattern analyzer. I mean, if you're moving first, pattern analyzer is a great way to get behind them, and great way to to flip the script a little bit. So I do, with that in mind, actually, I do like the idea of afterburners becomes less good.
And
moving first.
So if it goes, because the Mag Pulse version had ion missile on Kylo, yes.
Yep.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I like the ion missiles. Yeah, the ion missiles are really good. But I would even go as far as saying like because stealth device is better if you're moving first than afterburners.
Because you're going to get shot less, so less chance for the stealth device to break.
Well, not only that. I mean, if afterburners, you use it almost exclusively. When you're moving last and you know where you need to be. If you're moving first, you don't use it as often. So. Anyway, I was just saying that more just like when we look at these, it's not just like how would we build it as it is today, it's how would we build it versus what we're going to be moving into where everyone's at 200. Tagging
a ship moving after you with ion missile means they're only going one place next turn if they get ioned.
All right. So then the question that's popping up in the chat now is, two ship lists in general, they might disappear. I do think it may be an overreaction at first. Okay, I do think there's going to be that's usually what happens, right? We see this is going to be major changes, but we see a change against something and everybody just walks out. They're like, all right. No, even we've seen points go up slightly on a ship and people just completely abandon the list, right? And it just not show up anymore. So I think two ship lists might still be viable. They're going to have more answers, more tools. I will say I think double fire spray is always going to be a problem. I think they're always going to be really good because they have so many tools. Specifically, that 3-die gun out the back. I don't have to fight you. You come fight me. Like, that's always just going to be a super strong strategy. But something to think about. All right. Here's the next one I want to take a look at. All right. This got into the top 8 of Tatooine, our last Galactic Championship qualifier. 195 was the point to it's at. We have Darth Vader with Jamming Beam and double Inquisitors, both with Foresight. 195. We're giving away 5 points right now.
How much
would you change
Are
this?
we just adding filler or are we changing?
Right now, for today, because I think there's two. We're trying to eliminate the number of variables. Right now, we're just trying to theory craft in a world where the bids didn't exist at this point in time.
Yeah, because I was saying if we're changing it to meet no bids, I would say add sense on one of these, add passive sensors on. Actually, that's TIE Defender Vader. Never mind. I would just add sense. There's nothing else to do. Just add sense.
Add sense on Vader. is
No,
what you're
Vader
saying?
could only use sense at range 0 to 1, though.
No,
Yeah.
add sense on one of these, and then, but if
Well, I
Vader
mean, that-
can't use it,
Yeah, you can't add
he can't use it because of his ability.
his ability. Yeah.
He can use it, but only the 0 to 1.
No, he can't use it as intended.
Correct.
Yeah. So probably throw one of those on an Inquisitor. But again,
Well,
that's
they
changing the
both have-
list. That's not adding. That's why I was asking Dion if are we changing the list to or only adding filler?
I think you can probably change maybe
You could-
some
you
of the
could
upgrades
tweak-
as long
tweak
as
the
they're
upgrades,
small,
don't
but
change the
maybe not like
pilots.
whole chassis or pilots.
So what you're saying, Marcel, is that you want to take out a foresight, put in sense on one of the Inquisitors, but now you have a 196. What are you doing now?
Okay, so if I'm adding sense to one of these, I am good. So let's see.
Because they both Inquisitors started with foresight.
Yeah, I would probably just throw the missile, the missile that lets you shoot twice on Darth Vader.
Cluster missile.
Yeah, that's 4 points.
All right, that's a solution.
Yeah, I mean that's a way to get into beefier things since he's got multiple mods.
Awesome. And Will, how would you approach it?
5 points left. I'm tempted for to keep the foresights and go either Pracket or HLC's 5 points, right?
Yep,
Yes.
both are 5 points. That's what I was looking at, either Profits or HLC.
Yeah. I think I kind of want that HLC. I think I'm going to go with Arum Fish in our champ. I think he's got the right idea here. Because you need a 4-dice gun more often, and the one time you use Procket, you're hoping Vader can shoot more than one bullseye per game. Plus, you don't have to line up. You can boost into bullseye, barrel roll into bullseye. You're not restricted to the focus. Now, if you had 6 points, you might convince me instinctive aim, proton rocket, but
Okay.
I think I'm going with the heavy laser cannon.
All right. And what about you, Ryan?
100% agree on the heavy laser cannon.
All right.
No ifs, ands, or buts. That's it. I'm done.
Now, I'll break my own rule. There are some people who are suggesting, what if we just got rid of these foresights and went fifth brother, seventh sister?
Seventh sister. Yeah, I mean,
That's a possibility.
200.
That changes the list, though. Like, I feel like that is not having foresight in there changes the function of those TIE V1s. But
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
could
I mean,
be
you just know that it exists, right?
right.
And Fifth Brother is not as good without passive homing.
Yeah, it's
Seventh
much.
Sister's pretty set. Just like you just
Yeah,
take her
Seventh Sister's
base, and
fine.
it's
Yeah,
fine.
she's fine, but Fifth Brother needs toys.
But Fifth Brother can take more advantage of his ability when he's a wider flanker. Like you say, if you turn on him, you're letting Seventh Sister or Vader do whatever they want.
All right, I got a little bit of a weirder one now. I got a little bit of a weirder one. Let me go ahead and import it. So this was something broke. One moment. Let's try that again. Okay. Please hold. I don't know why that's not working.
Are you crashing Yasby?
There seems to be an argument between Yasby and TTT. All right, well, we'll
It doesn't like you.
It doesn't like you. All right, here we go. So Fan Langalan brought a separatist list to Tatooine that had a Bactoid drone, HMP, 47 points, Diamond Boron missile, DRK probe droids, and stabilizers, 2 Geonosian prototypes with the sync laser cannon, and stabilizers, and then General Grievous with Treacherous, Kraken, and Soulless One for 198. 2 points. Where can you what can you do? What are you thinking here, Stanny? Is there anything you can do?
Man, I'm just like trying to look at it and get my brain in there. I think you drop Treacherous and add Impervium Plating.
Oh, okay. There you go. Let me see if I can get a quick link to this. It'll be a little easier
That
for us to
way,
work.
you spend the 2 points by dropping the 2-point upgrade and taking the 4-point upgrade. I think there's not much else 2 points worth that you need to put on the HMPs at all, really. They're kitted out as needed. Grievous has his title and Kraken. Yeah, just take the plating that saves your butt every once in a while. Say, hey, that's direct hit. No.
Not today. Not today. So here was the original. We'll go ahead and pull it up on Yasby right now. Kraken, and it was the Soulless One. There you go.
Oh, I guess did you go through all the whole list with upgrades and everything? I was thinking the audio audience.
Oh yeah, so we have. Oh yeah, I did. I did read that out. So
Okay.
so you were
While
thinking.
I was trying to build it itself in Yasby so I can visually look at it and think about it, but then I realized the swap for Treacherous Impervium Plating is probably the way I would go.
Yeah. So take that out. Impervium Plating is a mod, and that puts you at 200. Yeah, that is a great swap there. Will, you have anything else?
Yeah, I just noticed I built it out. I was like, wait, this is a 199 point list. It's because it's back to a prototype, or excuse me, a Backtoroid drone and not DGS 047. I think I would take DGS 047. That's the HMP who, when you shoot, you can get free locks or give out strains, and then grab Elusive instead for it to fill out for the 3 points. Still get a defensive modifier. Treacherous cancels something and Elusive rerolls, but Grievous likes doing that 3 sloop quite a bit, and with Kraken he can even be holding a calculate token and have more incentive to 3 sloop in behind somebody. So
Yeah,
I think that would be the route I would go.
That's a good one too, because even you don't have to always count on running away with Soulless One to get that reroll. You now have a reroll potential with Elusive in all sections.
And why not both sometimes, you know?
My own heroic.
Right.
All right. Now these are just a couple examples, and now I actually. Lambolo here hit the question that I kind of wanted to wrap this section up with. Is there's going to be a list that we build that are going to hit 198, 199, and there's nothing you can add or change because you've determined that it's the best choices for that list. Are we going to see meta contenders that decide, say, my combination of upgrades is more valuable than the points that I give away by having a bid? What do you think?
Are you gonna get it? Yeah, I think you'll get people giving away points at the beginning. Is it the right call, or is it going to happen? Yes. Does it need to happen? I don't think so. I think there's always an opportunity to do. There's always an opportunity to do things better. I'm trying to think of. Actually, I would love to get an example of what somebody feels this is, because in my mind, like everything I look at, I can always think like, well, you can do this or this that's better. Like there's additional points out there that make it better. There always is. Or at least make it make it like even.
I think I might have pulled up a solid example because it's something that has been run in the past. It's not too common now, but it's an archetype people have used before. Pull up Fen Rao and 3 Zealous Recruits, 4 Fangs. But each of them only have 2 upgrade slots, being Modification and Torpedo for the Zealous Recruits, and only Talent and Torpedo for Fen. You are left with 9 whole points. How do you make that to 200 in the best way possible? Because there's no talents with small amounts that you can throw on the Zealous Recruits. It doesn't feel good to give them torpedoes because they probably don't ever really want to lock. You might be able to give 2 of them afterburners. Not bad. But then you're left with 1 point. You just throw on Fen. You could give Fen the advanced proton torpedo and say, I have the bigger bang 1 point, or one at 1 point in the game, but he's still left with 4 points, which there really isn't a good 4 point. I mean, debris gambit, maybe.
No, one of them, just turn one of them into Joy Wreckoff. I mean, or there's.
Oh, like, sure. Yeah.
Go 1146 is better than 1116.
Yep, but then you're taking Joy Wreckoff without taking an ion torpedo.
Well, it doesn't matter. It might as well be a Skull Squadron pilot. It's also 47. It's just an initiative 4. So you're acing with him a little bit. You're initiative killing. So yeah, I mean, it keeps everything the same without the electronic baffles. It keeps everything the same, but now you upgraded one of those zealots into an initiative 4 ship that's better. A Night 4 is better than a Night 1.
Sure.
So you improved it.
Okay. And I think, there's going to be potentially situations where you could put in people are saying like useless upgrades. Like that might be a thing. That could definitely be a thing. But I think we may not have hit, because we don't know what the points are going to look like in the future, obviously, and we don't know how the meta is going to evolve when the new things come out. But I do think there is a potential for this, what we're talking about, to happen. I think that there is. And that's just because what if all those talent slots are taken up? What if those, because you can find the cheap upgrades generally are in the talent and modifications. And right now you could just slap on delayed fuses and electronic baffles, which, by the way, electronic baffle, I think is a good card that we're going to start seeing more of now that you're like, you know what? I'll have it for a insurance purposes. If you don't know, electronic baffle says during the end phase, you may suffer 1 damage to remove 1 red token. The more health you have, the more valuable this ends up becoming for you. But besides,
I was just gonna say I would take a damage or an ion any day. Well, not any day, but in almost any situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, electronic baffle to get an ion off of you if it's going to put you in a very bad situation.
Yeah, like I think that the possibility might come up. And I think when we cross that threshold, when we get to a tournament, well, all of a sudden we see somebody who's brought a 197, 198 point list because that's what it had to be to get those combination of upgrades. We can have this probably a better and more productive conversation on this. Because the reality is that we don't have a good example right now because we're living in our current meta mind state. We can't really free ourselves from that yet. But yeah, I mean, I know that like today's podcast is definitely, we're in a little bit of limbo, right? It's like we are just playing guessing games today, and you guys are with us in the we want the points. We want them soon, and hopefully we can see that.
How about especially on the points filler stuff, we each can think of a upgrade that has seen almost no use during the bid days that we will see a much higher uptick with the no bid days.
All right, everybody,
you seem like you already have one in mind.
Oh yeah, I got one that's been waiting, and it's a card nobody uses, and that's called Tactical Scrambler. Medium large base only modification. And when you obstruct an enemy's attack, the defender rolls 1 additional die. It's not taken because the 2 points could be easily spent somewhere else, right? Like we said, like there's talents you could put it on, probably just upgrade to a better one. But its value when you take these lower initiatives, medium or large base blockers, even just a ship that you might not think is a blocker, but because it's moving, takes up so much board space and moves before other ships, it can have value. I'm talking like Namlam especially. But like, what about like generic arcs? They're always taking up board space. They're always bumping into other people. Do Reapers have mod slots? Reapers got mod slots, don't
Pretty
they?
sure they do, yeah. Because
Oh,
they
yeah.
can take, what is it, Ion Limiter Override? Which is, I think, a mod, or is it a talent?
That's a talent.
I know we know they can take hull upgrades, sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, they're also a candidate for electronic baffle deal, but in the same vein that they are always just running into ships because they're moving too fast and they're not maneuverable enough. I mean, they maneuver like in a specific way that's hard to avoid getting in the way sometimes. So I think that on these, and we've seen like Reapers do well, like Goran Reapers, even just 5 Reapers flying around. We've seen Arcs do well. Heck, even Fire Sprays can go out there and start doing some blocking while they're shooting, going for a block, shoot the rear arc, try to defend your friend. I think Tactical Scrambler heavily underutilized right now because it's the same thing, all these other upgrades. This is always something better, or just take a bid.
All right. Marcel?
Okay, I'll give you 2. One of them is on the Rebel side, Baze Malbus. With all the token stacking, it says while you perform a focus action, you may treat it as red. If you do, gain 1 additional focus for each enemy ship at range 0 to 1. To a maximum of 2. Basically, it's a 3-point perceptive co-pilot with a stress. Like you get the double focus for 3 points, and you get a stress. There's ways to mitigate stress, or there's ways to not care about stress. And with all the token passing, there's just an ability. I mean, there's just potential to do more token stacking on the Rebels. The other one that I think we'll see a definitive uptick on is Informant at 4 points. So you're losing a bid. You don't know that you have a bid. Just find it. Just point at the initiative 6 across the board and say that is my informant, and here's my 4 points to know where you're going to be at all times. I would even go as far as maybe even saying if you got 2 ships that can carry informant, put them on both ships, and
It's unique.
It's unique. Oh well,
Yeah.
Cassian Andor. No, but anyway, informant. I think you can fill it in there. But yeah, so informant and Malbus, whatever.
There you go.
Malbus.
Marcel, there's a list building challenge for you. I want to see Cassian, Informant, and Sense all in one list.
Oh,
You
that's
do it.
easy. I don't care.
I mean, yeah, we figured that one out pretty
Yeah,
quick.
yeah. I'm already thinking Haftover, Ahsoka, and Hera on the VCX, and we're gonna have a party.
We're gonna have a party. Yeah.
It's always Hera in the VCX.
Oh, you gotta take advantage of the sense. You gotta you're gonna be over there. Now I'm gonna be over there.
So I'm gonna go ahead and jump in here, and even though we saw Will use Composure in the XTC, that is one of the few times I've actually seen Composure used. And it was, I think we watched it, or did we play a practice game where Composure actually was like, there came a situation where it was money. And it's like, hey, now you could just take a risk. If you're not familiar with Composure, after you fail an action, if you have no green tokens, you may perform a focus action. If you do, you cannot perform additional actions this round. So this is, I'm not sure if this boost fits, but I'm gonna try it, and I gotta focus, and because it failed, right?
This
It's
is
an
great
insurance
for
card.
Medium and large base ships that are harder to think because their boosts are tougher to eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
So, what can you use it on medium, or is it only small base?
Yeah, it originally came out in Lando's Millennium Falcon when it was like Han and engine upgrade, and you're just trying to boost really close to asteroids.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if I was having a Marcel moment there, and I was
No, that's spot on. I think that was the intention of this card.
And Ryan?
I'll go with 2. They've both been used a little bit. Will dug really deep with the tactical scramble, and I love that call. But I think Marge Sable Closure is one that could see a lot more use as the 1 point, because there's always going to be times in games where you're like, I'm probably gonna have to go over that obstacle. It's probably the best thing for me to do. Now, for 1 point, if anyone's in your arc at range 1 to 2, they're going to receive a strain. Seems like an added bonus for something you end up having to do in some games, even if you don't want to. And some other ships might be able to take high advantage of that with ships that want to go through obstacles as well. And then I think you're going to see this a lot in the Republic. Synced Council. It's 1 point. It's a mod slot, and it's a pretty good effect. And even if you don't have a lot of them, I think Synchronized Council still has a good base effect.
I like it. So what that kind of sparked a thought in me here is, do we think that the how do I say this? The building to 200, will it encourage more combo womboing? So what I mean by that is more cards that require more synergy, or cards that have, I think Baze Malbus is a perfect example, where it's kind of a weird effect, but if you got to go to 200 anyway, you're like, it's weird. When it happens, cool. I don't know, I think one of the things I'm looking forward to is, when we have our games and we're streaming, is calling out some cards that we have normally not seen because they haven't been worth taking yet. I don't know. That's just a quick thought that I had there. Any closing thoughts? I mean, likely this is the last cast before we have AMG break the seal on the next dimension that is going to be the next wave of X-Wing points and all that. Any final thoughts in the last page of this chapter?
Good riddance. I'm ready. That's my final thought.
I was thinking the same thing. Get out of your bids. Give me the new stuff. I'm ready to move on and get new stuff and excited to build. I don't remember the last time I actively went to my phone and built list. I remember after certain points, updates, and changes, I'd be laying in bed before I go to sleep, just go, what can I build here? What can I build here? What can I do here? And filling my launch bay next with lists until I, eventually start to delete some of them. So I'm never going to get to this. Why'd I do this?
Will?
Oh man, I think I'm in the same boat. I'm ready to let the past die. Let's get a new chapter of X-Wing. I mean, if it doesn't work out, whatever. We could always just change it later.
This is true.
So I mean, it's not permanent. And probably in the future they'll think of an even better way of playing the game. So let's have fun while it lasts. Awesome.
And to answer the question, I know you guys are going to want a reaction stream when the points come out. We have to put a question mark on that because we don't know when they're going to come out. So if they come out on Wednesday morning, I'll probably go home so I can talk to Will about it. On Wednesday, we'll kind of do a reaction stream then. But we have to kind of wait and see. When we know, we will figure it out.
Likely when the word gets out, we'll be messaging each other about all the crazy stuff that we see. But then all right, it's this day. What's everyone doing at this time, basically?
Yeah. And yeah, we'll once we know. We've already started prepping our points tracker thing for like a historical tracker. We started adding new pilots in there. We're also kind of changing the format of a couple of things in there. So once that's ready to go, that'll be public again, and we'll get it filled out with whatever the new points are, and just be ready. Be ready. Be prepared.
Over under. Wednesday night at 7 p.m. before or after?
Is Wednesday the
7 p.m. their time, Pacific.
release is the 24th, right?
Which is Friday.
Friday.
Okay.
Before or after 7 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesday?
After. I think it's going to be after.
I'm going to say before, optimistically, so I can go play with new toys on Wednesday League night.
Yeah, I'm going after. They're gonna push it to the last possible required day.
I think I'm going to go after as well. They even have to have the right page and website up for it.
Yeah, right. Like you bring up a good point. Where are we finding these points at?
Someone asked in the chat. I don't know if it's going to be still on FFG site for now, just because it's technically still part of FFG like stuff, but AMG took it over clearly because this points is for the new structure of all these rules that were updated by AMG.
Yeah, I mean AMG's been paying the playtesters, right? Like, so hopefully they're paying the playtesters, but I'm in lieu of FFG.
All right. Well, I don't know. Hopefully, maybe. No, don't want to say that. Never mind. I'm just gonna keep that to myself. Stay smart. Stay safe. Gold Squadron out.